Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thought for Thursday. I almost feel like I should be whispering. It's so late. I hope that some of you are still up. Of course, it is not 7 o'clock, the regularly scheduled time for Thought for Thursday. Unfortunately, I am just a little later tonight, but I wanted to make sure that I came on here and gave you this information anyway. So you may be watching Thought for Thursday on Friday for all I know, and I apologize for that. But nonetheless, I am here to talk to you about the topic that I teased about earlier today. So, you know that Thought for Thursday is the segment of Leveling Up the Podcast where we come on Thursdays. We talk about a topic, a hot button topic that is definitely affecting you. We give you some ways in which you can maneuver, in which you can handle whatever that situation is. And when you leave here after 15 minutes with us, you will have some tools that you can use that are going to help to make the situation better. All right. So what are we talking about tonight at this late hour? We're talking about December. I talked about the month, and you've heard me frequently talk about the importance of making sure that you preserve your energy, that you take care of yourself. And remember that self care is a vital part of what needs to be considered at this time of the year. Well, our topic for today is dealing with December. How is it that you're going to stay full? How are you going to stay full in a month that really does try to empty you? That's what we're talking about tonight. So, we all know that December can be and probably is one of the most beautiful months of the year, right? And I'm talking beauty in the season, I'm talking beauty in the environment, I'm talking the lights. I'm talking about the holiday, I'm talking about Christmas, I'm talking about the birth of Christ. I'm talking about the beauty that December frequently holds. Yeah, the lights are pretty, the music is nostalgic, and the gatherings are really meaningful. But yet, underneath all of that, we really can put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Pressure to be joyful, pressure to be present, pressure to give more, pressure to be generous, and all of these things we try to pressure ourselves into doing at the same time. And for us, and when I say us, I mean women, especially for those of us who are carrying careers, families, caregiving, leadership, whatever that may be. December doesn't always feel that magical because we feel pretty heavy because we've got a lot on us. It feels really heavy. So today I kind of want to reframe that for just a bit. Reframe the month is what I want you to do. And what if, just think about this, what if you didn't just make it through? Okay. What about you survived and you thrived in December? What if you actually found yourself some room to breathe and to exhale? Many of us don't even give ourselves room to do that, right? I want to share 5 shifts with you, 5 shifts that you can take that are not going to help you to hustle. They're not going to help you to have things down to a T. They're not going to help you, to perfect anything, but they're going to help you to make it through December and to be better off as a whole during December. So, what are some things that you can do to make sure that you are going to make it through December? Well, the first thing I want you to do is decide what actually matters to you. What matters to you? Frequently, we get caught up in everything except what really does matter. And I want you this December to understand that December doesn't need all of you. It really doesn't. It only needs what matters the most. One of our biggest drains in this month is saying yes to things that just are not aligned with us, not aligned with where we need to be. Things that we're saying, yes to, just because of the time of the year that it is. And we often hide behind, well, that's what we've always done. That's what we always do. Well, this is the season to ask yourself, okay, we always do it, but do we necessarily need to do it or have to do it because we always do it? Ask yourself what deserves your energy, what feels meaningful to you and not just expected. That is so important. What can you release that's not going to make you feel guilty? What can you release without guilt? You don't have to attend every event. You don't have to recreate every tradition, and you don't have to do everything for everyone. All right. Clarity is kindness to yourself. So get clear on what it is that matters. Get clear on what it is that's important. Because when you decide what matters, then December stops controlling you and you start stewarding it. All right. So you want to be a good steward over all that you have and all that you do, right? So when you take that back, when you get some clarity, when you decide what's important, then you take better control of your month, and your month's not taking control of you. What else? Well, set yourself up some borders. Yeah, protect yourself. Set up those boundaries. We talk about it all the time. They're not walls, they're guardrails for your well being. December is going to test your boundaries because there's so much going on, your time, your emotional labor, your availability. You may need to leave earlier than usual some days. All right. You may need to shut down earlier than you usually do. Say no to one more obligation, and you know it's coming. You know there's going to be one, and chances are that begets another and another and another. Say no sometimes. No really can be one of your best yeses to yourself. Remember that. Limit conversations that drain you and protect your mornings or evenings. Decide which one you're going to have some dedicated time in, and make sure that you protect that time so that you can take it, make it meaningful time, and do what it is that you really want to do. Focus on things that are going to bring you peace and not a struggle. Give yourself the permission to have peace. Frequently, when we let go of some things, or we pull back, or we try to get some order, we feel guilty about it. Don't. Give yourself the freedom. Give yourself permission to protect your peace. It doesn't mean that you love people less. It doesn't mean that you're not committed. Um, it really means that you are committed to showing up whole and not depleted or resentful and exhausted. Peace is not selfish, and putting up those borders, that's not selfish either. Peace is really necessary. What else do you need to do? Well, honor your capacity. Realize that you do have a capacity. You're not an ever running or, an energizer bunny. You can't go on and on and on and on. The calendar's going to fill up. The body's going to tell you the truth, which is you can't do everything that's on the calendar. And December often exposes what you've kind of been ignoring all the year through. It can expose grief. It can expose fatigue. It can expose unprocessed emotions or burnout. This is a month to listen. Listen to what you're tapping into. Listen to what you're feeling. If your body is tired, rest is not optional. Rest is wisdom. Get rest. Get rest so that you can function. If your heart is heavy, slowing down is really not a weakness, it's really healing. Give yourself permission to heal. Give yourself permission to feel all the feels around this time of year. It's okay. But make the space to do it, and make the space to make yourself whole in the process. You don't really get extra credit, do you? You know that's something we did in school, something we did when we were graded. And you don't get extra credit for pushing through exhaustion. You don't get a special badge because you can tackle everything, get everything done, and still come out and feel or look as though you're on top. You get strength from honoring your capacity. Remember that. Honor your capacity. What else do you need to do? Well, I want you to make sure that you release the need for a perfect December. The tree doesn't have to be perfect. The decorations don't have to be perfect. Neither does the gift wrapping. It's okay if there's a little tear here. It's all right if the stuffing doesn't come out exactly like grandma's stuffing. Chances are it's still good. You're in a good place. You don't need the perfect tree, the perfect meal, the perfect moment, the perfect attitude. Put all of that behind you. Don't even give it a second thought. Let it go. December doesn't need to be flawless, it needs to be meaningful. Any time that you invest does not mean that it's going to be perfect, but it has to be meaningful. That's the more important thing. It needs to be real. All right. Some moments are going to be tender. Some may be awkward. Some may be quiet. But you know what? Whatever it happens, whatever occurs, whatever the moment is, it all counts. And when you release that need for perfection, you really create space for being present. You create a space where you can just be. And frequently, that's what we all forget to do. We forget to just be because we're trying to make things happen or make things be a certain way. And presence, all right, and being present really is where peace lives. It really is where peace lives. All right, the fifth thing is I want you to choose one way to pour back into yourself. Yep, you're going to be giving to everybody else. You're going to be doing a lot of things. You're going to be moving and doing things that you may not necessarily do every month. It's unique to December because it is December and because of traditions, because of what the month holds, because of what the month means. There's going to be times when you're doing a lot or you want to be tempted to do a lot because I'm talking to you about not doing that tonight, right? In the midst of all of this, find some time to pour back into yourself. Not someday, not when things slow down, but daily. Daily pour back into you. One small practice. It could be 5 minutes of quiet. It can be a walk without your phone because, quiet as it's kept. We feel almost naked when we don't have the phone. And that's not a good way to be, is it? A journal moment might be that time where you're really pouring back into yourself. A prayer or meditation, music that grounds you. All of this is really good. It's indulgence in yourself, and that's okay. This is maintenance for your soul, maintenance for your peace of mind, and all of that is necessary. You can't keep giving, of course, from an empty, we talk about pouring from an empty cup. You can't give from an empty place and expect to enter the new year with clarity, strength, and vision. It's just not going to happen. So December is not meant to drain you dry. It's meant to remind you of what matters and who you are. All right. So let's close this out. I gave you the 5 things that you need to do to kind of deal with and make it through December. I talked about the importance of making sure you understood what really matters. I talked about making sure that you're putting up those boundaries, putting up those blinders so that you can focus in where you need to. Making sure that you honor your capacity and not your calendar. Making sure that you release the need for a perfect December. And the last thing I said is to make sure that you choose some way to pour back into yourself. It's very, very important that you do that. Self care really should be, has to be a priority. So you don't need to rush January, all right, to feel relief. You don't need to rush to January to feel relief. You can feel some relief right here in December. Yeah, in a month that's typically probably pretty busy and pretty hurried. You really can. You can breathe right now. You can hold joy and rest. You can celebrate and have some boundaries. You can give and still find some room for replenishment for yourself. You can do them together so that you can achieve some balance. So I want to challenge you this year to let December be a month where you choose yourself gently, intentionally, unapologetically. Why? Because when you enter the new year full, then you don't have to really start totally over. You're starting strong. You're starting ready to roll out of the gate. And that's where we want to be at all times. All right. So that's it. Later than usual, but still some great tips tonight on making it through December. If you're catching this on the rerun, I'm still happy that you're catching it at all. So make sure that you watch it tomorrow or whenever you finally see this pop up on your timeline. All right. I want to remind you of a couple of things. One is make sure that you go and join the mastermind. I have a mastermind that's coming up on the 22nd of December, and it's absolutely free. Speaking of jump starting your 2026, that is the perfect way to do it. And then later on, we'll talk about programs coming up in 2026. Before tonight, or today, whenever you watch this, I want you to go out and be yourself, unapologetically, authentically you, being the best you that you can be, knowing that only you can do the things that you do, that your thumbprint is unique, and that you need to go out and touch something to make it better for you and to make it better for those around you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, a wonderful evening, and in all that you do, make sure that you strive to be well.